Here we are at day 2, week 4, and today we're going to spend a lot of time reviewing exactly what we did yesterday. And remember that if you feel bored, it's because you're trying to fit new information into old categories. So let's don't do that. I'm sure that you did your morning pages and you're doing your twice-a-day AT. And the reason that this fractal is so important and the reason that we're going over it twice is because this is your initiating trade. This is your first entry into a trading campaign for profit. It's extremely important that you take the appropriate fractals. We certainly don't take every fractal that's on there. And another thing that we want to emphasize at this point is that this is a complete way of trading. So you can forget about everything else. Don't worry about RSI, don't worry about the stochastics or the GAN or the astrology, any of that you don't really need. All you need are the 5 grounded assessments and a way to put them together. So today we're going to review the alligator. Later this week, tomorrow, we're going to look at the alligator on some actual charts. Then the next day, we're going to integrate both the alligator and the fractal. So let's go now to day 2, week 4, and review and make sure that we know precisely everything we need to know about the fractal. To repeat, here are our goals today. Today we want to review the fractal formation so that we can quickly and easily identify it. And we want to review again how we handle new information, which is chaos. Here's the fractal pattern. Remember from yesterday, this is the pristine fractal. And the definition for a fractal, the technical definition, is it's a series of a minimum of 5 bars where one bar on an up fractal is higher than the 2 preceding bars and higher than the 2 following bars. We also remember from yesterday that you can have a fractal up and a fractal down on the same 5 bars if that middle bar is an outside bar with both a higher high and a lower low than the 2 preceding bars or the 2 following bars. We also remember that the different fractals can share fingers. For example, here we have a series of 6 bars where this bar has the highest high preceded by 2 lower highs, followed by 2 lower highs. This low bar is preceded by 2 higher lows and followed by 2 higher lows. So that's an up fractal, that's a down fractal. And the last consideration, and don't let this one stump you, is that anytime you have a high bar and it's followed by bars that are no higher than the high bar but equal to the high bar, that one it just becomes invisible. So you have 5 bars that are required to make it up, and that's 2 preceding bars with lower highs, a high bar, and 2 following bars. And the 2 following lower highs do not have to be consecutive if the intermediate bar has the same high as the fractal. If this bar is higher, then that might produce another higher fractal if we had a lower high. So let's go to the next slide. And on this slide, remember that we're looking at the pattern as it develops. So let's run through this rather rapidly. And we have the up bars here. Now we have a fractal bisignal because we have a high preceded by 2 lower highs followed by 2 lower highs. And then the market moves down, remember, and it creates a lower low, and that's followed by 2 higher lows. That creates a fractal cell. And in this slide, we have a fractal cell here, we have a fractal buy here. Without putting in the alligator, what we know is that if the alligator approves, we would buy 1 tick above that, we would sell 1 tick below that. Later in this course, we'll find out how to put more precise stops, but at the moment, our job is to be able to recognize these fractals quickly and easily. And then we went over this formation, and this is in your book, it's in your manual, and these are just a variety of fractal formations. Here again is the pristine fractal. The pristine fractal, by the way, we call it a pristine fractal, but it's no more powerful than any other fractal. There's really no way to rate the fractal strength by the formation of the fractal. We do rate the fractal strength by where it appears in consideration with the alligator. But here's a fractal up. Here's a fractal up that has 2 equal highs. This one has 3 equal highs. This one has 2 highs spaced apart. This one has 3 highs spaced apart. So on this one, the fractal is formed when the second lower high is formed. This fractal is formed when that second lower high is formed. And just the opposite on the downside. So here's a pristine down fractal. Here's one with a double low, triple low, a double low, and spaced out triple lows. And this is a review, and all we need to know today is the actual formation of the fractal. What we would like for you to do today also is to spend some time, actually I would suggest that you spend 10 to 15 minutes just sitting here and meditating and thinking about what we said yesterday and last week about the most important question that you can ever ask is how do you organize new incoming information? Do you distort it into the old categories or do you let it organize itself? We're repeating this over and over and over because most people tend to underemphasize the importance of it, and we think it is vitally important. So let's review again the fractal facts. The fractal facts are that, first of all, what happens between an up and a down fractal is always an Elliott wave of 1 degree or another. A fractal is always a change in behavior. So when you decided, for example, to buy this course, that was a fractal. When you decide to call the broker to put in a buy or a sell, that's a fractal. When you decide to get out of a trade, that's a fractal. That's an easy to determine fractal because we all get out of a trade at that exact point where losing $1 more is more painful than saying we were wrong to be in the trade. So a fractal is a behavioral change, whether we're talking about oxygen and hydrogen molecules, or we're talking about the market, or we're talking about romance, or whatever. A fractal is a change in behavior, and we want to trade the changing behavior of the market. And one way to trade the fractal is that whenever the market exceeds the outside extreme, which would be a high on the up fractals and a low on the down fractal, we go with the outside direction of that fractal point. So in a quick review of today, what we've done is we have looked at the fractal, and we have reviewed the fractal in its journey into phase space. Tomorrow we're going to look at the fractal on a number of different charts. We're going to locate the fractal, and we'll use the practice charts both in your manual, study manual, and in the book. So be sure you do your AT, be sure you do your morning pages. We'll see you here tomorrow.